y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Pretty Suited Podcast. It's your girl, Lauren A. And Happy New Year. One time for 2023. Y'all, I have been looking forward to this new year. I know. Everybody says new year, new me, and all that other crap. But there's some validity to it. I mean, we all want to start fresh, start new, try to discover what we need to change, how we need to change it, put ourselves in the best position, all that good stuff. So why not? Like, boo to the peanut gallery who always has something to say about somebody wanting to start fresh in the new year. So, because I'm one of them. I had my resolutions written down when the clock struck 12 and I put it in my pocket and all that other superstitious stuff because I don't play those games. When I'm serious about my manifestations this year. I'm serious about my intentions. I'm serious about, my goals. And, so that's been pretty much how I've been feeling. So I decided that I'm not going to share any of my intentions. I'm just going to do them, be action oriented, and you'll see it throughout the year. Please believe it. Okay. So this is the first podcast of 2023. I took a long break, as you can tell, because I just felt like I just needed to spend as much time with my family as I should. Just my mom, my dad, my brother, just really getting into the holiday spirit. Like, I felt like this, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like this holiday or this past Christmas was probably the most Christmassy that I have felt in a very long time. Like, for some reason, of course, since COVID, like the past few years, Christmas just not been it. Like, you didn't really feel connected to the holiday season. But this Christmas, it wasn't even about gifts. Lately, my family has been, saying, hey, we're not going to do any gifts this year. We really just want to spend time with each other. And this year was the same thing. Like, we legit just spent time with each other. We really, as a family, got a chance to connect again, laugh, because my family is very loud, very, funny. We like to crack jokes on each other and things like that. So we got a chance to like really spend quality bonding time with each other, watching old Christmas movies and baking goods and all stuff like that. So it really felt like Christmassy this year. I really enjoyed it. And with the new year, I definitely, spent time with them. We, popped champagne and watched the ball drop and things like that. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, like, let's just get this episode started. I feel like so much has happened since the last episode, which was the beginning of December. So I thought it would be cool this episode to talk about something that's been heavy on my mind lately because, as I'm dating and things like that, going out, dating in 2023 is no joke. Everybody knows that dating in 2023 is no joke. As you know, we've been hearing this argument over and over and over and over again in the blogs about who's paying 50-50, who is being submissive, who is doing what, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just literally been the conversation the past, literally year or two, with every podcast that's out. I'm not going to get into that whole 50-50 submissive thing. However, I think it is important to talk about on a career/culture podcast, such as Pretty Suited, how women who excel in the workplace, how it can be quite difficult for us to really turn it off. And I know, don't kill me, I know. But I think it's important for us to delve into because as we be making boss moves in the workplace, we have to understand the importance of maintaining a balance, understanding that how to separate yourself from work from your home, and that's male or female. This is not just female specific. If you're at the house, if you're a drill sergeant in the U.S. Army, there is no way you can talk to your wife or kids the same way you talk to your students as a drill sergeant. There's no way you can do that. Now, you know what I'm saying? They're going to look at you like, first of all, he's crazy. They're going to be afraid of you, or, they're going to run. Like, that's just not, it doesn't make sense. It's not, you can't really do that. So same thing goes if you were a boss at work. I'm not saying every boss is barking and being difficult. However, when you think about what a boss is, you think about the qualities of a boss, right? So what are the qualities of a boss? It is somebody who takes charge of the situation, somebody who makes the decisions, right? Somebody who is, an authoritative figure, somebody who, gathers people together, somebody who brings the best out of someone or group. Those are qualities of a boss. So when you're at home, while some of those qualities are great, like bringing people together and bringing the best qualities out of them, what isn't necessarily the most helpful in every situation is the take charge part, right? Like, let's say if you're a woman and you're the, VP of finance for a company, and you're used to, okay, the money goes here, this goes here, this, we're going to do that, and this, that budget here, and Q4, Q2, all that stuff like that, right? When you get home, you may not necessarily want to do that at home. You might be good at it. You might excel in it. You might, it just might be natural for you to take charge and do that. You taking charge and making all the financial decisions for the house may not be in your best interest in the long term because you're going to feel burnt out. Why are you going to feel burnt out? Well, I'll tell you, because you not only are you doing all this stuff at work, but you turn around and doing it at home. Now, I'm not saying that you can't put in your input. Of course, it's money. You deal with money. You're going to know where your money's going. Don't be stupid, okay? However, I think that, let's say if your partner is very good with money as well, or can make sound decisions on where money is going, or maybe have different ideas of where to invest and all these things like that, then that's something that you could discuss with that person. And maybe every now and then they take charge where the money goes or the allocation of funds or things like that. Like, yes, you may be good at something, but it doesn't necessarily mean you want to do it all the time, because sometimes you're going to end up feeling resentful because you're burning the candles at both ends and it can just be too much. So let that person, male or female, whatever, let your partner take charge sometimes and be able to do that. But I really wanted to get into this clip that I saw from Good Mom Bad Choices about the same thing. And I saw Jamel Hill was on there. Everybody knows Jamel Hill is someone who has, broken barriers in the space of journalism when it comes to sports, particularly ESPN, as well as since ESPN, she has done so many great things for Black women. So Jamel Hill was on this podcast, and usually these women, they talk about things ranging from kids to relationships and things like that. So, on this episode, they made mention of how to turn off the dominance from work, pretty much. So just check out this clip and tell me what you think.
Interesting how you can navigate so powerful in your career and all these other things, and then when it comes to a relationship, struggle is vulnerable, and you're like, oh, I can do everything, but this is so hard.
It's so costly for Black people to do that. We do often have to be in spaces where we have to code switch, minimize, shrink. We would be naive to think that did not carry over into our real personal lives.
I hear on the internet, Black women are so masculine. You want to be the man and the woman. It's like, not had to.
Right.
I can wear my flowy dress in the garden.
This is not a choice.
And so, as you can see, the woman, she is making moves at work. She's doing her thing. She's taking the role. She is being a leader. She's doing her job. So when she come home, vulnerability, what? Allow you to take the reins? What? Huh? And sometimes it could be quite hard to just turn it off. You know what I'm saying? It's quite hard for us women to want to be in a masculine take charge state at all times. No, I don't know not one single female who wants to be in that kind of state at all times. Yeah, there are some women who do. Okay. But I'm just saying, for the majority of women that I've come in contact, known, met, seen, observed, no one wants to be in a take charge, dominant, masculine role at all times. We don't. So if you're doing all these things at work, which you kind of have to do, because normally in order for you to succeed in a leadership position, you have to demonstrate more masculine qualities than feminine, which include practicality, assertiveness, even some aggressiveness, all these things that usually are associated with masculinity versus femininity is more receptive, very subtle, but impactful. So as women of color have grown in the workplace where we have become, more executives, become more CEOs, become more presidents, the money makers, we had to have displayed more masculine traits than normal in previous years. Unfortunately, with that being said, it is kind of difficult for women, in these positions to take on the role of being vulnerable, allowing somebody to take charge, allowing somebody to make a decision for them, allowing someone to say, my decision is better than your decision, or my decision is going to be the deciding factor versus your decision. Giving up that position is very difficult for somebody who literally this is all you do every day. So I think it's important for us to really come up with solutions rather than just like every other podcast state the problem, because we all know what the problem is at this point. We've been beating this horse for a while now. So I think, it's important for both parties to literally create the space. I know it's hard. I know you just worked your 8 to 12, 14 hours and, you just want to sleep and go to bed. I get it. But you really cannot do that in this day and age where we are both on some kind of level or even aspiring to be on a high level. There's no way in the world that you can just neglect creating a safe space for your partner. You just can't do that. And how do you create a safe space? Well, allowing somebody to come home and decompress. Do you know in your 30s how important it is for you to just sit in your car when you drive home from work? Like, let me tell you something. That is valuable time. That's valuable time. Because think about it. First of all, people go through some crap at work that, sometimes you really just don't even want to go and tell your partner everything because they wouldn't even understand. So your time to literally just dissect and decompress what just happened to you in those hours at work is vital to you being able to turn off the extra and create a safe space. I don't know if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever that you need to say, hey, okay, this happened at work today. My emotions may have been, up and down. I blew up at Karen. This person coded, this person may be a bank teller and then somebody cursed them out because they had overdraft fees. Whatever the situation is, you need to be able to say, hey, this happened to me at work. The emotions that I utilized at that time, I'm going to break it apart because your emotions are already high. So you taking that into the house and now you cutting up at your partner because they left something on the counter and the partner like, dang, it's just a cup. Okay, I'll put it in the sink. But you blowing up. And it's just like, if you would have took some time to maybe just decompress a little bit, because it's not even about the cup. We all know it's not about the cup. We all know it's not about the cup. But, we have to be able to be mindful of where the emotions are really going. It also means, maybe keeping the house clean, sitting down, asking your partner, checking in is important. You know what I'm saying? Checking in, whether it's once a day, whether it's once a week at the end of the week, whatever, saying, hey, what is it that you need from me? What can I do? Maybe go on a date night. Plan something out for each other. Y'all alternate. Okay, this week I plan it. This week you plan it. This week I plan it. That way you're reciprocating the energy towards each other that is positive and pouring into the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because if I have to come home and then I'm doing the dishes and then I'm planning the date, I'm making sure that you're okay, and then I have to put the kids down, and that's a lot to ask for one person. So there's no, so that person's already gonna feel like Superwoman or Superman because they're already doing everything. So even if you were to even try to suggest something or try to take over something, they're like, no, 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 I got it. And that's not healthy. And then also too, you have to understand, just because the person may be the breadwinner, that does not give them the green light to make all the decisions. Now, if that works for you in a relationship, then that's fine. I'm just saying, if we're talking about creating a safe space and allowing people to be vulnerable and turn off the extra at home, then that also means, hey, if you're the breadwinner and you make most of the money, male or female, your partner's input should be appreciated. Your partner should literally be just that, a partner, a complement, a helpmate, not just somebody who, just mooches money off of you and don't contribute anything else. That's not a partner. That's a liability. Okay? That's a liability. That's not a partner. I need to be able to look at my man and his track record of decision making and be comfortable enough to know that if something were to happen to me, or if I'm not able to make a decision for myself, that he got it and I will be okay. Like, that's my ideal situation. I need to be able to be confident in this person's decision making, in my absence, in my presence, whatever the case may be. So if it, even if it's not something that I would do, let's say, for example, I'm just going to make an example. If we had a choice of red and green, and I would have chose red and he chose green, if the green actually turned out to be the right thing, then we won. A win is a win. You know what I'm saying? Like because I can't just be mad at him for not choosing red, but when green was the actual correct answer or the better option at the time. A win is a win. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for us to really, trust our partners, create trust within our partners, create a safe space for our partners to be their best selves. Because if not, if we're always dominating, if we're always taking the reins, if we're always making decisions, then you never really give your partner a chance to really be that backbone for you. And then you're going to build up the resentment. You're going to build up the hate. You're going to build up the, burnt outness. And then now you're going to want out. That's just my opinion. And I just wanted to just bring a different perspective to the conversation versus it just being, well, you men do this and women do this and I'm sick of hearing it. I really want to leave that in 2022. I want to start coming up with actual solutions to the issues that we're having as, millennials and Gen X and Gen Zs. Like, we really need to really start coming up with solutions to the problems versus just pointing fingers at each other. And now we just mad and divided. What's that going to do? What is that going to do? Absolutely nothing. So yeah, let's be a little bit proactive in the conversation. So this next topic I think is kind of funny because it's something that I think all of us has gone through in our lives where we, begin seeing someone or we start a new friend group and we are establishing ourselves in these groups. And then we get into this role, right? And we kind of get stuck in the role. Check this clip out.
I might even think something is a date. We're going out to dinner, we're getting drinks, we're going to see a show, big tight hug, deep breath. Oh, you're such a great person. Off you go. And I'm like, what the A lot of my friends will say to me like, it's because they have respect for you. They this, they that. But I tell you,
disrespect me then.
I don't want to be disrespected, but there's something about my energy. It could be that wet nurse energy.
Don't do this.
I don't know.
Giving thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I have to figure out what energy I'm putting out there because I do want to make it clear I am a sexual being. I think a part of it is that I don't want to make men in my life feel uncomfortable either. I would like it to just flow naturally. And so I'm not going to press it because I'm like, if I am this safe space for you and I'm the person that you come to, like you're the only woman in my life that I can talk to about this kind of stuff, I don't want to violate that. But I also am finding that I get stuck in that role.
So it's giving, hey, mom. I thought that was funny. Because it's true. I think I give off this energy of, I got the answer. I know a lot of things, so I'm going to give you a suggestion. Say, hey, why don't you try this? And then you kind of give off this energy of a fixer, right? I give off this energy of I'm a fixer. I'm an action-oriented person. You got a problem? What's the solution, right? Oftentimes in my dating history in the past, I found myself wanting to correct the issues that my partner was having. Like, instead of letting them come to a resolve on their own, I'll be like, oh, this is a problem. This is a solution. And they're like, okay, cool. And so they'll go along with it. But then, like I just spoke about, they never really learned to kind of develop that on their own. And then it always left me feeling like, I'm not your damn therapist. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your mama. Like, I shouldn't have to be the one to come up with the answer all the time. Like, why don't you come up with the answer? And that built resentment, and then we ended up not working. So I feel like in that role, I had to learn that because I naturally working in healthcare, I was, a very much action oriented person to solve a problem, to save a life. I feel like now I'm going to say my piece. I'm going to give input. I'm going to do all that, but I'm definitely not going to be anybody's fixer. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a helper. I'm going to be a helpmate, but I am not going to be your fixer because I'm enabling you and I'm not able to allow you to literally step up to the plate to solve the problem. And that's not helping anybody. You know what I'm saying? So when she made mention of that, I was like, this is perfect because I have definitely gone through something like this. And with her being kind of stuck in the role of being like a caretaker, a very good friend, somebody's mom, like mom, maternal, or whatever, that can be frustrating because you looking at them like, I don't want you to see me like that. I want you to see me as somebody who can be those things for you, but that's not all I am. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of pigeonholes you, and then now they only see you as that, and then now you're feeling like, okay, I didn't even get a chance to give you the other parts because it's over. You know what I'm saying? Or you feel slighted, or you feel you get ghosted, or whatever case may be. And for her, I'm sure she wants to feel sexy sometimes. I'm sure she wants to feel like they look at her like she's desirable, she's lustful, whatever the case may be. I know that she wants to not be pigeonholed in that role. Let's talk about this because I think this is important to mention as well. I think a lot of men go from their mothers to relationships with women and never really kind of fend for themselves on their own, for the most part. And it ends up showing up later on when they aren't very action-oriented people in the relationship, right? So, like, for example, like, let's say a man, was in college. He lived at home while he was in college. He may have gotten a, apartment with some roommates, what have you. He meets this girl, and then they get together, and then they end up moving in together during college or right after they graduate. And so he literally just went from his mom, maybe some roommates, maybe, to a girl, and really didn't have a period between college and his lady to grow the fuck up. And so it's kind of difficult to kind of see how he's able to take care of bills on his own, how he's able to, make decisions for the house, how he's able to set up appointments, how he's able to do any of these things because he never really had to do them on his own. And then when we get into the relationship with these men, we really kind of be like, well, why I got to do everything, or why you can't do it? Because they never really had to. They never had to. So technically it's not his fault. I can't fault you because you never really had to. And so, especially if you dealt with a mother or somebody or friends who, were basically like taking the charge and doing it for them, they didn't have to do none of that. So you can't get mad at them for not having those qualities when it never had to be displayed. So even when I dated I always kind of looked at that like, were you ever on your own? Did you ever fend for yourself for real? Because I need to know what that looks like what kind of decisions you make. And some men, some people, let me just say some people, because women do this too. Some people literally will seek out people with those qualities of taking charge just so that they don't have to do anything. I've definitely seen that. Like, if they go from their parents to relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship, like literally hop from relationship to relationship just so that they don't have to really take care of themselves. Like, that is insane to me. But it's a thing because, they don't technically really want to do it for themselves. So they're going to find people to do it for them. That happens more than you think. And so, in her situation, some men might really cling to her because they're like, you mommy number two. Like, they're like, mommy number two. Like, yes, jackpot. Like, what? That's an ideal situation for some people. Like, I'm not going to lie. You have to be mindful of the energy that you're putting off. And, that's why it's good to check in, to see kind of like, okay, what am I doing? What position am I playing? Like, what's going on? So that way that this person isn't, using, or am I not enabling them for doing something that will make them better people? Like, that's just kind of how I think. My suggestion to her would be, if she were to ask me, is to, okay, if you want to get out of that role, you got to start to fall back a little bit on the mommy. You got to stop, woo, woo, woo. All my 90s babies know, living single, Sinclair, woo, 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 rubbing the back and everything's going to be okay. And you got a solution to the problem and you, let me fix it for you. Let me heal your boo-boo. Like, you got to stop that. You have to maybe back up a little bit, give them space to make decisions for themselves. Even if they're venting to you, kind of just sit there and, what? Yeah. What? Yeah. And just let them talk and, maybe offer a little advice, but just their role, you are not here to solve the problem. You are not here to fix it. You may just be here to be support, a shoulder to lean on, a listening ear, but you are not their mother. Lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. That's just not, because if you don't do that, if you don't fall back, and I know it could be hard, believe you me, coming from somebody who is very action oriented, like I said, it can be very hard for you not to be the problem solver. But if you really kind of want to see how other people act, on their own accord, or if you really want to kind of change or allow others to see other parts of you, you kind of have to be able to showcase them when it's time and not just fall back into your most comfortable role of being Captain Save 'em. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep doing that. So that would be my advice, just to see what they say, because they may even be surprised. They probably like, I'm surprised you don't have nothing I'm surprised you didn't really help me. I'm surprised. And you're like, I just wanted to see, I just wanted to play a different position. I just wanted to see how you would respond. I just wanted to, because, that way they know that you are capable of doing something else. Surprise them. That's my advice. So now we're doing Watchlist of the Week. So this Watchlist of the Week, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take it back because, it really hasn't been anything that I've really been wanting to watch lately. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been flipping through all streaming services and I haven't really seen anything that I really wanted to watch. So I decided to go back and rewatch a show that literally was a staple in my house growing up, and it's Family Matters. Family Matters is available on Hulu. It was a couple years ago, then they took it off, and I think now it's back. So I just said, look, I'm finna rewatch Family Matters. It was a great show, and I just want to see it again from a different lens now that I'm older, all that good stuff. And, I just got something to say. I just got something to say. We never talked about how manipulative Steve Urkel was. I know. He was a nerd. He was smart. He loved himself some Laura. He was definitely giving Joe from You vibes before that was a thing in a playful way, but it was definitely stalkerish. He had real obsession. But we're not gonna talk about that because that was all fun and games. Okay, cool. But we're not going to talk about how manipulative he was when it came to Laura, when it came to Carl Winslow. Carl Winslow, the father, legit developed hypertension and almost had a heart attack because of how stressed he was dealing with this damn boy. Like seriously, Steve would literally flatten their house. Stuff going through the window, roof caving in, falling off the roof, driving the vehicle through the house, burning it up. Like, this man was a menace, okay? A straight menace to that family. Every episode tearing up something. I don't know, their insurance was crazy. They probably had to take out a whole refinancing just to cover the insurance. This man tore up the house every episode. And after every time he tore something up, he used to always pull the "did I do that?" and then say they'll get mad, and then he'll say, "But I love you guys. My heart is broken into pieces, but I'll always love you, Laura," and then do this little sad face and then walk off. And then they feel guilty. And then now they have to apologize to Steve for being upset with him when he literally just trampled the house. I just sit there and I just get so upset because I'm like, is anybody not mad at this manipulation that he's doing? This man is sick. Like, they done saw a therapist. His parents keep shipping him off to their house. His parents, you don't even see the parents. The parents is like, we can't take this little man. Like, go to the Winslows because we can't even tolerate this man. They neglected that child. Like, seriously, if you really want to talk about it, they neglected Steve. They were never around. So they literally left him, went to Hawaii, I'm sitting here in just complete disbelief though, as to how manipulative he was. He guilt tripped them into several different situations. He would bribe Laura into going on dates with him, sabotage her other dates. Like, this man was a complete menace. Great show. Great show, great life lessons. There was always some kind of lesson in the end, which I completely miss in today's TV. Because unfortunately, all the TV we have now is literally reality TV, and there's no moral compass. There's no, lesson in the end. There's no positive black figures. It's just a hot mess. And so with that being said, you end up, with a generation of children who they're literally being raised by Instagram and social media, as opposed to having TV shows that reinforce positive behavior. Because the argument is always, well, they're gonna watch it anyway. They're gonna, watch and curse and all this anyway. That's fine. Children have been cursing since the beginning of time. That's not a new concept. Children have been acting mischievous since the beginning of time. That's not a new concept. Well, what is a problem that we're having now is that instead of culture reinforcing good behavior, what the right thing to do is how you shouldn't do that. How instead of it doing that, it's literally just saying, do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want. And be whoever you want, do whatever you want. It's whatever. Just, and it's like, how is that? How is that? I know in some instances it's a great thing, because yes, you can be whatever you want. You can do it, you can be whomever you want to be. But there's consequences to actions. And, that is lacking in a lot of our TV. So what thing I do really appreciate about Family Matters was the fact that they reinforced positive behaviors. Although this guy was a menace, was terrible, it was a great show because it showed Black families with Black issues, going middle class, but, raising great kids the best that they could. And it was a really, really good show. And we just need more good shows like it. So shout out to Family Matters. It is available on Hulu. Check out all the seasons. I just love seeing the progression of the characters and, seeing how ultimately Laura does fall for Steve. Not Stefan. Well, she does fall for Stefan, but she says, and ultimately Steve, it just needs to be who he is, and she loves him for it. So, kudos to them. For music, music has been kind of slow during the holiday season. In Q4, there's really not much music out in the last part of the year, except for SZA. She was the only one who really come out with the big album. And of course, she's topping the charts with doing her thing. Kudos to SZA for that, because she just stays awesome. But I wanted to bring up an artist that is not new to the game for real. She's been out as an actress for a very long time, since she was little. We've seen her in TV series like Star, and she's just been doing her thing throughout the years, but she's really getting into her music bag for real in recent years, and it's Ryan Destiny. But let me tell you something, that girl is gorgeous. She is just absolutely gorgeous, from her skin to her lips to her, how she carries herself. She is one of the ones, that group of Normani, Justine Skye and Lori Harvey. Like, she's a part of that kind of group, and she just is very talented, multi-talented artist. Like, she could sing, dance, act. She's just great. And she just came out with a new song called How Many. And, it's definitely giving 90s vibes. It is, basically talking about how he's being, unfaithful, what she can't really trust him because he has a track record of just doing all kind of things. And, it's just really one of those 90s, I'm sick of your crap, and I'm a boss and I don't need it type of energy. And I really, really enjoyed this song. I was surprised actually, just how much I would like it. And she's just doing her thing. And the video itself is very sultry. It's simple because it's really not much when it comes to a whole bunch of dancers or anything like that, or a whole bunch of gyrating, skin showing and all that. She's really just showcasing her. It's just her for a lot of the scenes. Dark shadows, neon lights, her doing sultry moves, her silhouette. Like, it's really just showcasing her as an artist, and I really enjoyed how it complemented the song as well. So check it out. It is Ryan Destiny, How Many. She is singing. I can't wait to really hear her her EP or album where she can maybe showcase her voice a bit more, because she does have a great tone. And I look forward to seeing what's next for Ryan Destiny. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, I look forward to the rest of the year, staying consistent with the episodes. I want you guys to write to me, whether it's email or in the comments. Just leave in the comments what topics you would like for me to discuss. Don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later on. Bye.